Today we're going to be answering a very important question. When it is to your advantage and when it is to your disadvantage to have a real estate agent when it comes to approaching new home construction builders and looking at buying new home construction. Now, as many of you know that have been following this channel for quite some time, I used to work for a builder in model homes and can tell you from firsthand when it is to your advantage and when it is to your disadvantage to have a real estate agent with you when it comes to new construction. So we're going to answer all those questions that you need to know when it comes to using an agent, when it comes to new construction, and make sure that you get the information you need so you can make an informed decision to decide what's best for you and your family. All right, guys, stay tuned to the very end. Take a moment to say thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you so much. Some of you guys have been here from the very beginning since I did my first video on the pros and cons of St. Augustine. Thank you so much for just tuning in every week and watching these videos to the end. I am so honored that you guys are here. So much time and effort goes into making these videos for you guys. So thank you so much for being here. All right, let's unpack our topic for today. Now, this is a big one. And this is, I saw that about 2,000 you guys were searching this topic about, is it to your benefit to use a real estate agent when it comes to new construction? Now, my answer may surprise you because it's not always to your benefit to use an agent when it comes to new construction. It's in particular situations that it is, and sometimes that is not, okay? Now, as you guys know that have been following this channel for a while, or you may be new here, welcome. I actually used to work for one of the larger builders in the United States of America as a site agent working directly in the model homes, working with customers and real estate agents when they would come in with their clients. And I will tell you, sometimes it was a disaster. Yeah, that's the short of it. It was a disaster. And other times it was a beautiful thing. Okay. Now we'll tell you off bat, we're going to cover it's going to be a longer video. We're going to cover 3 areas. We're going to talk about what's the difference between a site agent that works for a builder and a general real estate agent that say works for Caldwell Banker, Florida Homes, Keller Williams. Then we're going to talk about when it is an absolute disaster and not a good idea to use a real estate agent when it comes to new construction. Then we're going to talk about finally the benefits that come when you choose certain real estate agents, as far as they have certain characteristics, certain qualities, or certain qualifications. What are some of the benefits? And there's a lot that comes with that. Okay. Now, right off the bat, before we jump into this longer video and our 3 segments that we're going to cover, I want to tell you this. Just remember, 80 to 85% of new home construction deals are written with a general real estate agent attached to them. Okay. So the site agent, the builder that works for the builder, that's an employer for the builder, 80 to 85% of those deals are written with a general real estate agent attached. So that means 85% of the customers buying new construction choose to use a real estate agent to advocate for them during their process of buying new construction. Other facts that we need to get out of the way early on. Remember, using a general real estate agent on the buyer side of transaction when you're working with a builder, it does not affect the price. Again, on the buyer side of the transaction, that real estate agent that you choose is compensated at the end of the transaction once you close out of the builder's marketing budget. So it doesn't cost you anything in that process. Okay. So those are just some things to keep in mind before we dive into when we're going to jump off, starting with talking about the difference between a builder site agent and a general real estate agent and what you need to know as far as the difference. Okay. And then we're going to go into the nitty gritty as far as when it is not to your advantage to use an agent. Okay. All right, guys, we're going to give you all the details. Get cozy on the couch. It's going to be our longer video, and we're going to get you all the information you need to make an informed decision. To cover, so excuse me ahead of time if I talk a little fast, because I want to make sure that we get all the information in that you can make an informed decision about whether to use a general real estate agent is a good idea for you when it comes to purchasing new construction or working with a home builder here in Northeast Florida. So let's unpack the other element that you need to be aware of when it comes is what is the difference between a site agent and a general real estate agent. So of course, as we said many times before in this video, I've been on both sides of the desk, so I'm just going to give you the nitty, the gritty, and the truth. Okay, so site agents that work for builders, work in like the beautiful model homes as you see, we are those site agents, not me any longer, are employers of the builder. So our real estate license is actually hung under that business, and then we are limited to sell only that builder's products. Okay, I remember this one family came in, they wanted a home that was 2,600 square feet. I only had one community at the time for the builder I worked with that sold homes that were over 2,600 square feet. Took them to that, they loved it, this, that, and other. Then a few months later, they were like, wait a minute, we didn't know about Beach Walk. Wait, we didn't know about Beacon Lake. Wait, we didn't know about this community, that community. Well, I couldn't really tell them about those communities because the builder I worked for, I was an employee of that builder, and I could only show them and tell them about the product that I was responsible for selling. Versus a general real estate agent, they're a licensed Florida real estate agent, licensed throughout the state of Florida, can work throughout Florida. Most try to specialize in the area in a particular style of homes. But our real estate licenses basically just held with a brokerage for compliance and for legal purposes. But we can run our businesses however we see fit and develop a business model that works for our lifestyle, whether it be that these condos, renovation properties, flips, whatever. We're not limited to just one builder. We can help you anywhere. But site agents are very limited because they're employees of that builder. So that's just one example. Another example that you need to be aware of is site agents, their predominant job and their main job is to sell. So we are not, when I was a site agent, we were not allowed to attend closings. We weren't allowed to go to walkthroughs. We weren't allowed to help you with pre-walks, all that kind of stuff. We just weren't allowed to leave the model like that because they wanted us to be in place to receive new customers coming in that wanted to buy a property. So even if I wanted to just go to lunch for like an hour, I had to let my manager know that I was going to be away from the model, because you've had it where you've gone to go see new construction and the model is closed and you're like, man, nobody's here. So builders do not want that to happen. They want their site agents in place to be in place to sell. And I've worked with some amazing site agents. You've seen me feature some of them on this channel. And I have a plethora of many more that I love and have had great experiences working with. But they are not allowed to go to walkthroughs and home inspections and pre-walks, or to review your closing documents and your alta statements and your closing disclosure forms to make sure they're accurate. They're not allowed to get involved in those parts of your deal, which are the most important parts, right? To make sure your numbers are right, to make sure your home is right, because their job is to sell, if that makes sense. So I remember even sneaking out when I was a site agent to sneak to a customer's closing so I could just give them a gift and congratulate them. And a general site agent, a regular agent like myself, has the autonomy to help you in a more involved way and to be there throughout the process and to make sure you have an advocate at every stage of the way. And plus, site agents, even if they were able to step away, you're putting them in the position to then challenge a colleague. You know what I mean? They're colleagues, they're peers. So for another peer to challenge another peer can create drama versus an outside person, if that makes sense, okay? Now, other things you need to know as far as site agents are concerned. Site agents, depending on the builder, and this is not every builder, so I don't want to make builders out to be villains, because I work for builders and most of the houses I sell are new construction. And there's some great builders out there and there's some not so great ones. Okay. But some builders push initiatives on site agents that then put pressure on the customer. So you may have inventory, for instance, that's sitting, and they say, hey, a builder I used to work for, they're like, hey, if you guys don't start selling this inventory that's sitting, you guys are going to start working 7 days a week with no days off. We need this inventory gone. So then people are then pressured to then pressure the customers into maybe a sale that's maybe not best suited for them, just so they don't have to work 7 days a week, okay? And some other things when it comes to like some builders that have their own mortgage companies, where site agents will get pressure to really try to talk a customer into using their mortgage company with some that have fees that may not be favorable to the customer. Now again, I'm not painting site agents to be villains. Just know they have governing bodies that are corporations that sometimes push initiatives that they may agree with and they may not agree with, that then affect the way in which they interact with you, and they just sometimes are just not able to provide that full service. They're not able to provide that full service that you would get with a general real estate agent to walk you from contract to the closing table, because they have to be in place in their model home to service new clients that come in and want to write a contract to buy a product, as far as to buy the new home. Okay, so I hope that kind of gives you just a general overview of the difference between a site agent and an actual general real estate. Now, let's jump into some of the benefits that come with using a real estate agent when it comes to purchasing new construction. Now, again, it's going to be very important that you pick an agent that has, of course, your best interest in mind, that is listening to your wants, needs, desire, and is very aware and very attentive to your desired budget and your community needs. Next, someone that has direct knowledge of the builders. They should be able to at least name you at least 5 different builders in this area, right? And also one that has direct experience walking customers through the process, so they can tell you kind of what to expect, what to avoid, etc. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you're working with someone that is committed to walking you through this process from start to finish, okay? So if you have an agent that has those 4 main components, you are going to be in a win-win situation, because those type of agents will be able to first do this most important thing, which is to save you time. So if they've already have relationships with the builders, knowledgeable of the different builders in the area, instead of you having to go from model home to model home, builder to builder, place to place, they will be able to eliminate a lot of time and be able to narrow down which builders, which communities, and which areas are better suited for you based on what your guidelines are. So on the contrary, I've had agents, when I was a site agent, they would show up with customers budgets that were $200,000 less than our starting price of our homes. And they would schedule appointments, show up with the customer time off work, all this stuff, just for us to get to the bottom line, to be like, wait a minute, our homes are $200,000 more than their budget. Why did you even bring them? So a good agent will be able to save you time, because they're able to narrow it down based on your wants, needs, and desires. Another thing that a great agent, as far as a great general agent, will do for you when it comes to new construction, they will save you money. So a lot of times we know of those that have taken the time to build relationships with insiders, with as far as insider reps with the builder. They'll know of incentives, deals, and potentially be able to leverage those relationships to get you a better potential price, okay? Now, when I say that, for instance, there's a community in particular where there's certain homes that a builder is offering to pay down the CDD fee or pay it off completely by, like, say $30,000. Now, they're not making that public knowledge because it could cost them a lot of money, and they're only doing it on particular homes where the profit margins will allow, where they've let some of their agents know of these different deals that they're able to do, but it's not general public information, okay? I know sometimes just with having great relationships with builders, I've been able to call in favors to get lots released that have saved my customers anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. $15,000 to $20,000 just for something to being released before a price increase went up. So you definitely want to make sure you're leveraging that. Another great thing that...
Unfortunately, we are out of time, but remember, this is a 3-part video, so you want to be sure that you stay tuned for our part 3, as we're going to unpack more on when using a real estate agent is not to your advantage. Here's a little bit of a sneak peek.
When it is to your disadvantage, particularly those that did not have the professionalism or the poise or just the intelligence to make the deal and make the home purchase about the customer. I had an agent come in when I was a site agent that complained about everything. Like, they didn't even give the customer a chance to voice like what they liked, what they didn't like. They were like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that. The customer was irritated, I was irritated. I was ready to get on my model home. And so you want to make sure that you're hiring a real estate agent that is going to look out for your best interest, and that's going to make it about you. You're the one that's paying for the house, right? You're the one that's going to be living in it.
Want to be sure that you stay tuned for this juicy topic as we have our part 2. All right, guys, please know I am here to help. If you've enjoyed this information, don't forget to push like and subscribe. And no, I'm just a phone call, text, or email away. I'm here to help.